Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently working to try to isolate this group of units. They're pretty overextended up here, and we would love to take this position or this position. Either would work. We're currently moving up and over this direction. Okay, our number of tanks over here is not phenomenal, so that's absolutely understood. Right now, the number of tanks we need is definitely increasing. We're producing about 42 per day, well, 41 per day. This is going to continue to boost up the production efficiency over time by some, about 8%. So that's noted. If we want to get more going here, we need another line of modern tanks, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. We have some steel available, actually, surprisingly. So we're going to build our, where is it? Modern Tank Mark 1, right here. We're going to make more of these, and we're going to put in 150 of them, military factories, that is, and they're going to go down over here. Now, I don't think we need these factories on our war austerity trains. I'm going to take that back, and we're going to move back to about 10 on support equipment, and then about 10 on advanced anti-air for right now. So all of this is good to go, but we still need 6 military factories, and then military factories will start going here. I want this to be in front in terms of priority of steel of our ships, but down below everything else. So that seems fine. Let's get a couple of new military factories going. So this is going to be a few out over this direction, probably. So that's 3. That puts 3 into our tanks at this moment. That puts 6 into our tanks. And that's probably enough for now. We'll let that go for the moment, and that will be okay. That'll be enough to at least get started on some of this. So out over this direction, we're trying to push in over here. It's not going super well. What we really need is to get more tanks rolling, right? That's going to be a very big deal here. So to that end, I'm actually thinking about building a few additional military factories out over this direction. So that's all relatively fine. We've got a lot of space we can put these up in. But I'm doing this at the bottom of the queue. These aren't super high priority over here. So we'll get some of that set up, and that's okay. Yeah, we can see we're going to be through a lot of this stuff relatively swiftly, so that's kind of a medium-term objective at this moment. So that seems fine. Our attack over here is not going fantastically, but we don't really expect it to. This is fine. They're pulling some troops back from here right now. In fact, they're pulling a lot of troops back. And I'm not surprised about that. There's not a lot we can do about this at this moment, so that's okay. Do we have access to any additional... Okay, we're now negative in our steel. That actually surprises me. They must be doing more interdiction again. Okay. Well, it's just ships. I'm not too concerned about that right now. Okay. Ooh, they moved these forces out of here. We're committing to this. Although I want this guy to only be assisting. I want to commit here. I want these guys fully committed. I want everyone here committed. There's still 13 units here, remember. So we're going to see about pulling some of these forces out of here. Excellent. They moved in a reinforcement unit, but now we're on our way in. They're still trying to reinforce this, but they don't have the forces here to do it. They are trying to stream forces this direction and get out before we get in and get them surrounded, which is smart. I'm not surprised about that. We're attacking here, though. This is a good call. And they did move an additional unit in here. There we go. So we now have control over this position, and I don't think they can kick us out. Correct. They cannot kick us out. Everyone here, get in. Stack wipe this. Perfect. So we didn't manage to clear out like all 23 divisions they had there, but we did manage to clear out quite a lot of them. So that's good. And that also cuts them off over here once again. So we do want to push in this direction. No doubt about that. We'll have these forces make their way over, and there's the advanced ship torpedo launcher finishing up. We can grab the modern ship torpedo launcher now. Wonderful. And these attacks down over here, they're not making very much progress, but we are chipping down on these units a little bit. So that's noted. We know that they have a supply hub here, and they have a supply hub here. They also have their port here and their port here. Any of those falling is actually kind of huge. We've got a lot of tanks coming down this direction to be over here. We have a bit of a lack of logistics here, a bit of a logistics hole, but with their hub here, I don't think that'll be a problem. So that seems okay. We should have these forces. Yeah, the infantry came back up over here, which is exactly what I wanted them to do. So that sounds perfect. And let's see how things are going up in the north. So we've dug in over here, and that's going pretty well for us at this point. You can see they're having a really, really hard time attacking here, but they're consistently trying, and that's actually really good. This location here, I want to move this up in the queue to the top of the queue. We want to get this absolutely built on the land forts. Okay, so if they attack, or rather, if they don't attack for one more day here, then we'll have at least one level of land fort built here. And there we go. So we now have a level of land fort. And that's just going to make it harder for them to attack us here. Ever so harder. So that's absolutely great. I want to check in on our production now. Okay, so we don't have any factories working on this yet, but look at that. We've already started to make a dent in our needed modern tanks. So that's huge. We're very, very happy about that. I'm even thinking about backing off a little bit on our artillery, at least for now, and going to something like that, and putting all of these into tanks. So that's all underway, but we don't have quite enough resources to get all of that done. We can check to see if there's any tungsten that we can import, and actually, yes, we can. And we can check to see if there's any chromium to import. Absolutely, there is. And we'll get that on the way. And then, of course, there's steel. We're basically importing the entire world's supply of steel, and some of that is being interdicted. So that's absolutely understood. So that's fine. And the real question then is, are we going to start making substantial progress down over here? Because if we can wrap this up, that's a huge deal. This unit is retreating here, but the others are fine, it appears. Okay. They have a supply issue here. That surprises me because they have a hub right here. And a victory point. And they have their port here. That very much surprises me. But we've managed to take this position. So that's also a big deal. Fantastic. We do have more research to grab. We'll take the advanced dual-purpose battery, and we are going to grab, I guess, bracket shooting. Sounds good. Do we have anything in the naval tree here that is not researched at this moment that doesn't need a special project? No. Okay. So we're definitely making solid progress here. Let's grab magnetic mines. There we go. Okay. So this is all looking good right now. The fact that we are net positive in our modern tanks is a huge deal. And the fact that we're working up our production efficiency over here as well. That's a very big deal too. A gain over here is fantastic. We would like to see more gain over here, of course, but it's going to take a little bit of time before we are in a position where that's actually going to be a thing. But our tanks are rolling out. We're now making 1 per day from this new production line. It's not a huge amount compared to the 42 per day from this line, but we're definitely making solid progress there. So that all looks good. This line is ramping up, and it'll be ramping up for a little while. We're not going to have the resources to max this out, and that's completely and totally understood. So we're currently launching some attacks on this logistics hub. That's fine. Anything going on out over this way that we should be aware of? Not really at this moment. They definitely have some supply issues out over here. Oh, I wanted to check in on how they were doing on their... They're at 1 million. Available 1.25 to 1.75 million. I'm not sure if they're still mobilizing or not at this point. I think that's still within the range of the center point of the last estimate. Okay. but it's a lower high-end estimate, but a higher low-end estimate, which I believe the previous was 1 to 2 million. So that means we should assume they have about 1.5 million. Now, they're going to be taking a lot of losses from these attacks that they're doing out over here. If we check in here, we can see 5.21 million versus 7.11 million. They're almost 2 million ahead of us in losses. That's enormous. We're very pleased about that. We, of course, need to get a lot more tanks rolling. And we can see the steel deliveries are fluctuating around. It's very reliant on steel deliveries. This line, however, is doing very, very well. So that's good. It's continuing to boost up its production efficiency up to 110%. And that is going to be great. We're going to be roughly around like 45-ish a day, which is a pretty decent amount. So that's absolutely noted. We do need more tank production, but we're going to be limited in a few different ways. So that's all fine. Let's get these guys heading out to here. Perfect. So they're on their way over. Why are they going here? No, seriously, why are they going here? Army 6. Okay. I don't know where the rest of these were. I don't know where that order was from. Hang on. Where are you guys from? Up here. There we go. That'll make more sense. Perfect. I don't want them to come out to Z03. That's fine. So at this moment, I want to check in down over here. If we could take this province, that would be a huge deal. And the reason for that would be because that would give us essentially a sundering of supply lines from Zanzibar down to here. That'll cut their available supply here in half, and maybe way more than half, if they are indeed getting supplies through here. So that would be absolutely huge to take this. And I'm going to order that attack, and we'll see what happens. The answer is not a whole lot. Okay. They're pretty dug in here, and we'll just wait it out. It's fine. We'll continue to grind this down. We should probably put some... We should probably put a fort level here, and I'll just put that there. Actually, I'll put it about here in terms of priority. There we go. So we'll get that going. And yeah, if we can cut them off over here, that's absolutely huge. We're stalled out down here. They've got a lot of forces down over this way. And that's absolutely noted. So for now, this seems relatively fine. I'm not in any rush at this moment. Things are very much in our favor. Very, very much in our favor. So we're just going to continue to defend out over here. They're spending ludicrous amounts of manpower on this, by the way. Just absurd amounts of manpower on the attacks up over here. So that's very good for us. We definitely want that meat grinder up there to continue. That's great. Down over this direction, they're also trying to attack down here, which is why we're focusing up here. They attacked here, but we're defending in the mountains, and we have our land forts beginning to come online over here. We're already up to 2. So that's looking absolutely great. I'm thinking about how we can utilize these tanks. Although I kind of just want to chill for a little bit, mostly because I'm concerned still about our tank production numbers. They're not phenomenal. They're definitely not phenomenal. So that's noted. For now, I think we'll leave this be, and I'm very interested in cutting off any supply flow potentially through East Africa that is coming from Ukrainian Abyssinia up here. This would be absolutely great for us to do. Fleet Submarine Special Project just finished, and we can start grabbing air-independent propulsion. Why not? We could also work on nuclear engines. Why not? That'll be fun. So their supplies are a bit dire here. But we're definitely having some issues down this way. I want to check in on their manpower numbers now. How's this looking? Oh, this is definitely down. This is down by, like... If we look at just the high end, it's down by 600,000 since we last looked. At the low end, it's down by 500,000. Wow. I didn't expect it to be down by that much. That's insane. So we just want to wait this out then. We want to wait for them to exhaust their manpower reserves, and then we want to go for the attacks. So I think that status quo here is absolutely fine for the moment. It's very much in our favor. So that seems great. So we need to keep an eye on their overall manpower numbers. Yeah, that's definitely dropping. That was another roughly 100,000 that this dropped by. We don't know exactly how much, but they're sending men to their armies at very, very high rates right now. I don't think they're taking that rate of casualties, to be clear. I think they're working through their backlog of men that they lost while they were at 0 manpower. So that's fine. That means that we're not actually in that bad of a situation at this moment, and we're actually quite pleased to continue this as it sits. I'd like to see them continuing to attack up here, and yeah, they're attacking up here very regularly, but they're making literally no progress. So that's really, really good for us. If we check in again, yeah, their manpower is dropping. And it's dropping a lot. Now our manpower is dropping too, but we're on a much better pace for that. They will collapse before we do. And so I think we just keep status quoing this. We keep the grinder on, and we just wait for them to run out of manpower. That's the current plan. It's not a great plan, especially if you're an infantryman, but it's a plan, to be sure. I'd really like to get a successful attack out over here, and these guys are attacking a lot. I'm going to actually back them off to cautiously attack. I'm going to back these guys. Actually, I think I'll leave these guys where they're at. They can keep doing what they're doing, but I want these forces to regenerate because I'd like to do a very strong attack right here. That's the overall idea at this moment. So that seems good, and we can grab ladder shooting. There we go. Okay, let's check in on Ukraine now. It's about where it was before, but the number is definitely slightly lower. I think we're starting to get to the point where they reinforced all of their armies. And now we're starting to see their actual attrition rate. Unless they were extremely heavily recruiting. That's also a possibility, now that I think about it. What would be the benefit? Or rather, what would be the downside to us of them extremely heavily recruiting here? They can't utilize it effectively here. This is a choke point. They can't use it effectively here either because this is a choke point. As long as we get supplies out over here. And supplies are a bit of an issue up here, potentially. But I think it's more producing the supplies than delivering them. Out over this direction, they could theoretically maybe do something here. That could be a problem, but they're already running into some supply issues in some of these areas. So dramatically increasing their number of troops here might work short term. I'm not sure how well it would work long term. Similarly, down here, I don't think they can really afford to dramatically increase their number of troops. So that's interesting, for sure. So if we look at this, we need about 11,000 tanks. That's been about status quo of what it's been this whole time. So that's noted. We're going to be done building all these fortifications pretty soon. We are working on the factories now. So that's understood. And let's grab ourselves diesel-powered emergency pumps. Cool. So, checking in on their numbers now. It's been a little bit here. Yeah, that's still down, but it's not down at quite the rate it was previously. Okay. It's still dropping, and it's dropping at a pretty noticeable rate. So that means that they're going to start running into manpower issues again soon. And I want to try launching a two-pronged attack here. We attack here, we attack here. Okay. That was interesting. We almost succeeded here, and this attack here was never going to succeed, but it was still an interesting thought experiment. Now that we know what we're up against in terms of fortification here, we know that these guys are taking attrition. And we also know that they just moved a unit out of here, presumably because of the attrition. I'm going to grab a couple of these armored divisions over here, and we're going to move them up. They're going to want to move back down, but we're going to have them immediately launch an attack here as soon as they arrive. We've got this attack going on, and it's not tremendously successful, but we're going to move in more forces up over here. Okay. This is not a stunning breakthrough up here for sure, but we are winning this. We've got these two units that can be used to assist the attack. For the moment, I'm not going to do that. I'm just hanging out. The battle's kind of turning on us a little bit, but this unit, we see its morale dropping very, very regularly. Its organization is the term in this game. So this unit's going to retreat soon, and then there's just that cavalry unit. But there might be more reinforcements on the way in. If they are, they're coming from here or they're coming from here. And we don't have eyes on either of those provinces or the ability to stop troop movements from those provinces. But if my theory is correct and they've been moving supplies through East Africa, this is going to be a crushing death blow for them. They did move a unit in to reinforce, and we're going to get these tanks to attack here. Okay, they're moving more units in. This is not surprising. We know that this is a very vital province for them if that is indeed how their logistics are set up. And I believe that they are. That's my suspicion anyway. Regardless, even if they aren't set up that way, this is half of their naval base supply. So that's a huge deal as well. So just continuing this attack for the moment, and honestly, this is going fine. It's slow, to be sure. Okay, so at this point, the outcome is oscillating. We should be seeing their cavalry here retreating soon. And that will make things a lot better for us, for sure. I'm thinking about moving even an additional 2 tank units up here to help out with this. Only 1 is moving. You're supposed to be having 2 move. Oh, we just took this. You guys stay here then. And you guys stay where you are. Okay, I'm actually shocked that we just took that. But we did. And it looks like they don't have anyone defending them. They don't have anyone defending back here. So now what we need to do is we need to observe to see if they have a serious supply issue that develops here, now that they no longer have access to Zanzibar. Either way, this will reduce the amount of supplies available in this pocket. It's now officially a pocket. They do have a coastal province. They can get out by sea, but we'll see if they actually do. Okay, so we have apparently no divisions assigned to this. I'm going to delete both of these orders here, and we're just going to have this unit make its way up over here, take Zanzibar, and then we're going to reorder these 18 units as soon as this is done. We're going to reorder these to offensive line right down like this. I don't want to do it now, though, because I think that'll stop the movement here. Oh, they just brought 2 in, presumably by sea. We're going to use 4 of these armored divisions, and we're going to attack here. They have very little supply here, so this should not be an issue. Okay, they just stack wiped, and now we're going to have these, or 1 of these, 2 of these stop. Perfect. So now we need to make our way back up over here, and we'll see if we can take that. So checking in down here, their supply levels are pretty similar, aren't they? There's still status quo positions up over here, nothing going on there really. And then Ukraine themselves, they're at, that's definitely dropping manpower levels, but it's not dropping at a ridiculous rate. Okay, so that's noted. So we're just going to get Zanzibar taken over here as soon as we arrive, which will be eventually. It's very slow to get around in these areas. Okay, they're bringing more troops in here. This is very rude. Right before we get there. And our guys just stopped trying to go. Can you not? Keep going. You'll stack wipe them. So now we have to move again, unfortunately. And sure, we'll just try to very slowly, very painfully move our way into Zanzibar yet again. They keep moving forces in here, and they're getting stack wiped. So that's actually not a terrible thing for us, because we're stack wiping troops. But I would really like to have that under control. That'd be nice. I want to check in here. Yeah, they're definitely somewhere around like 800K for manpower. That's noted. Okay. Presumably these guys are going to arrive this time. This time we have 4 units doing it, not just 1. So, are they going to arrive here? They tried. But we got it this time. Okay, perfect. So we got it this time. We finally managed to get in there, and now we can put in an offensive line right here for this unit. We also have an officer corps role, and we're going to take armor specialist for that. Perfect. So that seems good, and we've also got this guy. He is a... Who was that? I actually don't know who that was. Okay. Well, that's fine for now. It apparently vanished on us. I'm going to restart the game in a few minutes anyway, so that's probably fine. Or rather, I'm going to restart the game tomorrow, but... So it is about time to put a cut in here, so I am going to do that. I want to check on our tanks. Ooh, that's net positive. I like it. Our tank divisions are strengthening. Net positive on the mechanized as well. That's a really good sign. It is time to put a cut in, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to degrade the Ukrainian manpower situation. And we should be able to start pushing in over on this side. Their supplies are going to be substantially worse now, no matter what. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.